Today we're doing the top 10 best Philadelphia Flyers games over the past 3 years from 2017 to 2020. First off, if you enjoy what we're doing here, make sure to like, hit that subscribe button as we're trying to get to 500 subscribers by June of 2021. I'm hoping we're going to get there. We're really gaining a lot of subs. We're really picking up speed. But let's get to the main point of the video. So, how I did this was that I did it in a top 10 format. I do have a ton of notes here of it, and I have my top 10, and I have a short description for each game, because these games were like my entire life as a Philadelphia Flyers fan in a nutshell. You know, there's stuff covering round 1 of the 2018 playoffs to round 2 of this year's playoffs. So, you know, there's quite a bit of stuff here that you can look at. All right, so number 10 was February 18th, 2020 versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. It was a 5-1 win, and the reason why was because I was at the game, and it was my third ever game being at, and it was just a scoring game by Philadelphia. It likely wouldn't have made it into the top 10 if it weren't for the insane goal that Sean Couturier scored. This was a great game, but it was a little bit too dominant, a little bit too, I don't want to say boring, but like, yeah. Columbus pulled their goalie as well, which is awesome because that's happened in every single game that I've been to now. So every single game that I've been to, I'll talk about the other ones, but all the other 2 games, they've had to pull their goalie for one reason. So it's awesome how every game that I go to, the Flyers dominate. So that's awesome. And it was a fun game. I mean, you know, it actually started off the streak that was a 9-game before the season ended, and it was such a great start to a great streak. And I'm happy to be a part of that streak and be watching that streak. Number 9, September 3rd, 2020 versus the New York Islanders. This is in the playoffs, round number 2, game number 6. Sorry, not 7. It was a 4-3 overtime win for Philadelphia. LINDBLOM returns, which was absolutely insane because, you know, LINDBLOM was in the lineup for the warm-ups, and then he actually came into play, and it's amazing to see all of the hockey world, and not just the Flyers, but all of the hockey world. I saw Islanders fans all over social media saying, "Welcome back, Oscar Lindblom. Welcome back, Oscar Lindblom." It's awesome. It's great. It's great how, you know, these guys hate each other's guts on the ice, but they band together off of the ice, and you know, we've seen that a lot of times, and I think that was one of the best moments. But yeah, Philadelphia was down 3-2 in the series. They went up 2-0, and it was 3-2 after the end of the second period. Or no, it was 4-3 after the end of the second period. But then Scott Lofton tied it in the third period, and it went to double overtime, and literally scared the crap out of me. But then Ivan Provorov scored off of a great pass from Kevin Hayes to the point. Bam, shot right in, and they forced Game 7. Unfortunately, that was not what happened. That was a really tough game. But anyways, number 8 is August 14th, 2020 versus Montreal. Game number 5. Actually, it's not game number 6. It's game number 5. Now, you might be asking me, you're like, Nordic, why is that number 8? They lost that game. Well, because I was camping, and it was just like a screaming fest. Like, my dad was making me die. I was laughing so hard. He's screaming like all these curse words. I'm like, oh my god! And he's cursing the crap out of Gallagher. And you know that was the game that the Niskanen hit occurred, which, by the way, should have been more than one game. If I haven't gotten my point across yet, we were watching that, and when he got hit, my dad celebrated. I'm like, oh my god! I'm like, I better not notice. None of my fans better notice me here. But I'm not. I don't think I was that big enough at the time. Number 7, August 16th, 2020 versus the Habs. This is game number 6, 3-2 win. The series won, and it was very close. You know, the goals were in the first and second period. Philly went up 2-1 after 2 periods, and then they went up 2-1 after 1 period, and they went up 3-1 in the second. But then Montreal scored another goal to make it 3-2. Third period was basically just an icing fest. The Flyers played great defense. We didn't spend a lot of time in the Habs zone. We just played defense the whole time. We really just iced the puck that entire third period, to be honest with you. So, this is it was a great game to watch, entertaining, and we got to move on to the next round. So at least I can flex that we made it to the second round. Number 6, December 31st, 2019, versus the Los Angeles Kings. This was a 5-3 loss. It was New Year's Eve, and it was very, very, very physical. Again, now this is not like the Montreal one. This was a very, very, very physical game. There was there was some rough hits. There was some fights. There was a play where the Kings player went into the Flyers bench and he tried to get out, and the Flyers players pushed him out. And the Flyers even made a comeback towards the end. It was like 4-3. I'm like, wait a second, and they were down like 3-0. I'm like, are we about to pull off another one of these? So yeah, that was insane though. We didn't win that game, but we actually made it a pretty close game when you look at it right now. But it was a great game if you watched it. Number 5, April 4th, 2018 versus the New York Rangers. I think that's the 1 out of 2 2019 games on this list. It was a 4-0 win. It was the last game before the playoffs. If we won this, we would make the playoffs. I had 2010 vibes in this game. I was thinking, my dad did too. 2010, we needed one more win to get out of the play to make the playoffs in 2010 against the Rangers, and we successfully won that game. And this was the same kind of game there. We won it, and Claude Giroux got his first hat trick, which was awesome for Claude Giroux. I don't think he's really gotten one since. And I mean, Giroux, he's really coming down as one of those best players in the league. Number 4 is March 22nd of 2018 versus the Boston Bruins. Now, this game was very entertaining. It was a 4-3 overtime win. There's a lot of overtime wins in this, especially a lot of 4-3 overtime wins. I really wanted, overtime games are probably the scariest kind of games for me, yet the funnest games to watch for me. I mean, it's kind of weird. I'm sure a lot of other people are like that, but it's a bit odd. Now we have it was a scoring show, and I mean, Philly was up 3-1. Boston came back and tied it. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, oh boy, don't give me another one of these, Philly. Please don't. But luckily they won in overtime, and it was a great goal by Giroux too. A great goal by Giroux between the legs, up on Rask, and it was great. Number 3, we're into the top 3 now. This is the top 3. They're not recent. I think all of them are 2019. Yeah, all of these are 2019 games. So only one of them is from this season. So these 2 are from last season. February 23rd, 2019 versus Pittsburgh. It was a Stadium Series win. Super physical. There was some major fights there. It was Wayne Simmons' last game as a Flyer, which was kind of emotional, not gonna lie. Simmons has been in trade. Simmons was kind of getting hotter and hotter in trade rumors. I was thinking to myself, this might be Simmons' last game in Philadelphia, which sucks. And it did suck because he's in Buffalo now. He traveled to 3 teams since he left, and he's looking like he might go to Toronto. And I wouldn't mind seeing him in Toronto, but it's still gonna stink. Yeah, so it was a great game, very physical. Giroux with another overtime win. Oh my gosh. Number 2 was February 16th, 2019 versus the Detroit Red Wings. It was a 6-5 overtime win. Why is this number 2, you ask? Because it was my first ever hockey game that I actually went to in the NHL. Not in AHL. I've gone to countless American Hockey League games. I don't even remember all the teams that I've watched in the AHL. But what I do know is that this game was absolutely insane. We went up like 5-4 or 5-1, and Detroit came back and nearly won the game. And with 7 seconds left, they tied the game up, and I'm like, are you serious? I have a clip of where Anthony Mantha scored the goal, and someone screamed, "F you, Mantha," and it was probably one of the best moments of my life. So that was a very fun game to watch. Great wraparound goal by Konechny to end off the game. It was a great game. December 7th, 2019 is the number 1 game, and it is against the Ottawa Senators. Now, why are you asking this is the greatest? Why are you asking that this is the greatest game ever? Because this game was probably one of the most physical games I've ever seen. But prior to this, Philadelphia and Ottawa have had many outgoings against each other. So heading into this game, I was very excited. I was thinking to myself, maybe this will be a very physical game and very fun to watch. It was exactly that. There was fights. There was a called off goal. And as I said, they pulled their goalie in this game. And they did that against Detroit, too. But all three of those games I was at, and and the other team had to swap out their goalie because the Flyers were dominating. And that's what I'm saying. The Flyers should just give me season tickets. We'll go 82-0. Let's go. But yeah, it was a very physical game. A lot of fights, especially towards the end too. And it was very exciting because I was there with my grandpa, my uncle, and my cousin, which she was like 6, 7. She was like 4 years old. I'm like, well, you're lucky. I took me until I'm 12 to get to the actual game. So yeah, it was a very fun game. It was a very fun season, very fun past 3 years, and I can't wait for the next 3 years to come in. It was, it was a tough finish at the beginning of It was a tough finish about a week ago in Game 7, but you just have to get through it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, do make sure to leave a like, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 4 subscribers. I knew it was coming too. Sorry about that. As we're trying to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year. I don't know what the heck I'm thinking right now. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, for the constant support, and I'll see you guys in the next video.